She is Miss Celia Boyd, co-founder of She Investment, Cambodia's first business incubator and accelerator that applies a gender and cultural lens. Since launching She almost 7 years ago, the social enterprise has grown from 3 co-founders to a team of over 35 across 5 provinces, becoming a leading organization supporting women entrepreneurs to scale and create economic, social, and environmental impact for communities. Celia's background is in international development, having worked with projects across multiple areas and geographies. She has been based in Cambodia for the past 6.5 years, focusing on building She Investments and specializing in women's economic empowerment through entrepreneurship. This year, she decided to step back a little bit, handing over the leadership to an amazing Khmer woman to lead the team forward in Cambodia so that she can focus on really strategy and seeing how She's vision of supporting women-led MSMEs can be scaled across the region. So thank you, Celia, for joining us this afternoon. Do share with us, your story. What led you to do what you are doing right now?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. So I guess the short answer would be that essentially I never really wanted to start a business or aim to do that. I think we saw a problem and a gap that wasn't being filled and tried to solve that, which is, I think, what any good business does, is they try to solve a problem for someone. So she brought together 3 co-founders, all with very different backgrounds and skills, to try to solve that problem and fill that gap. So as you said, my background is in international and community development. And in my mid-20s, I was kind of increasingly becoming aware of my role within that sector as a white Australian woman, or perhaps the role that I should not be playing. And my co-founders, their background is in business as an entrepreneur and in facilitation and training. So she is very much a mix of those things. So we started doing research, and we saw that in Cambodia, over 60% of businesses are already owned and run by women, but most of them are micro-sized and informal. So only around 2% of them are actually registered, and only around 27%, less than 30% of SMEs are owned by women. So there's this really big gender gap where women are very entrepreneurial and they were running most of the businesses anyway, but they were kind of stuck at this really micro informal size. So we believe that women are key drivers of economic growth and post-COVID drivers of economic recovery and rebuilding, and that they have the right to access business support services that they need to scale. So in 2015, we created the first business incubator for women with micro-sized informal businesses that is designed specifically for Khmer women and delivered by Khmer women in Khmer language. So the goal is essentially to support women to scale up their businesses so that we can see just as many women running SMEs as there are men.
Thank you very much for sharing that story. One thing is that's very consistent across all our speakers is, for our aspiring entrepreneurs there, they were opening their eyes and ears to see and to listen to the needs that were out there. And then they just went ahead to do it. They saw the need, they just went ahead to meet those needs. Now, before I go back to Celia for the next round of our conversation, for our participants that are joining us this afternoon, please feel free to use the chat box to, just pose any questions that you may have to our participants. Yeah? So let's get back to you again, Celia. In this last 6.5 years, as you have really engaged with different MSMEs, women entrepreneurs, maybe if you could share with us, what challenges have you seen for them that want to scale up? And I think more importantly, what practical steps do you feel that women entrepreneurs, innovators in Cambodia and maybe just in general, what steps can they take or do they need to be able to thrive in this post-pandemic environment, post-pandemic world?
Sure. I mean, I guess there are a lot of challenges for sure. There are numerous challenges. There's a reason why the majority of micro-sized businesses are run by women, or why there are, most small, medium, large businesses tend to be male-owned. A lot of those challenges can be gendered, even, things like family barriers, decision-making power within households or businesses. When we're talking about emerging economies, most businesses are family businesses, and we tend to see a lot of women doing the majority of the work and running the business, but they're pretty much unpaid labor, even if a lot of other family members are earning an income. So there's quite a lot of stereotypical and gendered barriers in place when it comes to women entrepreneurs in particular. I think that in terms of, practical steps, it sounds really simplified, I suppose, but I think that the most important thing is just that you need to consider the context and the environment that those entrepreneurs are working in. So what are the specific barriers facing them? Not, women in general, because there's all kinds of different women or people who identify as women, but within the particular context or country or culture or whatever it might be that you're working in, what are those barriers facing those people? Is the business environment enabling? Is it accessible for them? Maybe they need training or mentoring. Maybe they just need access to information or digital skills to be able to access that information. Maybe they need better government structures that actually make the process of starting and registering a business easier. And I mean, essentially, the business world has been designed under a patriarchal structure. So it's designed for men. So if you want to support MSMEs, the majority of which are run by women, and you want to particularly support women entrepreneurs to scale, then you need to listen to them and design solutions for them, rather than expecting them to fit within the structures that have already been created and that are not necessarily working for them, if that makes sense.
It does. And I think it's a common issue across many jurisdictions. Yeah. So thank you very much.